Jack Spencer was a member of the first graduating class of the modern Fruitport High School. While at Fruitport, Jack participated in football, basketball, baseball, and track. He played football at Ferris State from 1965 to 68. In 3 of those seasons, he served as team captain. He was a part of Ferris's first undefeated season during his senior year. For 32 years, he taught at Duval Public Schools in Jacksonville, Florida, followed by a 7-year career at Baker County Schools in McClellan, Florida. He has coached football and soccer, but his claim to fame is in baseball. Although his coaching career was primarily in Florida, he spent 3 summers coaching Connie Mack teams back in his hometown of Fruitport in the 1980s. Under his leadership, his Florida baseball teams have compiled a 579 and 207 record, including 2 Florida state championships and 4 Final Four appearances. He has won numerous state and national honors for his career, including the Sunbelt Classic Hall of Fame, the Florida Coaches Hall of Fame, the National Federation Coach of the Year, and the American Baseball Coaches Association Coach of the Year. He has been a baseball clinic speaker throughout the United States, and Jack has also held positions over a 12-year period as a professional baseball scout for the Yankees, Brewers, Braves, and Giants.
Jack's a unique individual, okay? To give you an example, when Jack got to Fruitport in 5th grade, and I think it was the day that he walked in there, he wanted to know who the toughest guy in school was. And we told him it was the guy by the name of Roger Ferris, and he went and found Roger, and they had it out that day. And, you know, and I'm not advocating, you know, fighting or anything like that, but that's the way Jack was. He always wanted that challenge. He would go after the toughest guy or the toughest problem or the toughest opponent that he could find. And you might beat him once, but he'd be back there the next day. And you'd have to beat him every day for the rest of your life. And if you had that kind of energy, and I don't know of anybody that did, then go for it. But most of us would just give up, let him win, and you know, everybody's life would be a lot better after that.
Jack Spencer, he was the first graduating class, and they played football as like a junior high or not full high school for a few years, and that's kind of where I remember them playing. And they had 2 unbeaten seasons, where they beat Spring Lake quite badly over at Grand Haven's old field. So I remember going there as about a 9 or 10-year-old student. But Jack Spencer was one of the stars of the team, a really emotional guy. I mean, a real gung-ho athlete. But I saw him play basketball here in this gym and diving into the old stage door for a loose ball, knocking himself out. I mean, he was that kind of person all the time.
Well, I tell you, Jack and I have been friends, best friends, since 5th grade, which is now probably about 50 years ago. You know, it doesn't seem like that, but time does fly. And we've been close. We went to school together. We went to college together. Our families have stayed in touch, and Jack and I have stayed in touch. As a matter of fact, we've contacted each other on our birthdays every year since we got out of college.
His mother-in-law, stepmother, I should say, was a bus driver, and so he grew up in her house. And we always, later as a coach, we always wanted to have her drive us to the away games, because she would go and get you there. She ran a good ship. But
I graduated '84, like I said, and he came up from Florida to coach 1 year during the summer for our summer team, and I never met him, didn't know who he was. All of a sudden we had our first practice, and here comes a guy with the baseball cap and the big chew in his jaw, and you knew right then that you had a really good baseball coach. And it was a good time, and had a lot of fun and learned a lot from him.
Jack came back in the 1980s after he was down in Florida as a real successful coach and teacher down there to work on the school fields, you know, in the summer, and stayed with his mother. So I worked in some of the township parks. We both had crews of young guys working there, so our paths crossed quite a bit, and I got to know him a little better. But what a fun guy to hang out with and stuff.
The one thing I remember most about him is if you're getting signs from him, and he flashes the signs and you miss one, you'd look back for the next signs, and he'd just look at you, he'd turn his hat sideways and just kind of give you a goofy look, just to let you know that, you know, he wasn't mad, but pay attention. And I remember one, he was just flashing a whole bunch of signs. At that point, you didn't know if you knew it or not, so you just figured out, you hope that the pitcher would throw it right down the middle so you could get a hit, get out of there, be done with it, and continue the game from there. So he just made it fun. I remember he taught a lot about the game. I learned about the game, not necessarily how to play it, but he taught everybody about the game, and that's what I remember the most about him. So I learned from him in 1 year more than I did probably from anybody else. And now coaching at the JV level, I find myself doing some of the things that I learned from him, or saying some of the things that I learned from him. So it's little bits and pieces that I've taken from him and brought to Stillfoot, the JV level at this point.
I think it's incredible. I can't think of a person more deserving than Jack Spencer to be in this inaugural class. He personifies what Fruitport athletics is all about. I mean, if you had to set the script or have a model for a great athlete and a great individual, it's Jack Spencer, hands down.
From the class of 1965, Jack Spencer. Jack was a member of the first graduating class at the modern Fruitport High School. While at Fruitport, Jack participated in football, basketball, baseball, and track. He played football at Ferris State from 1965 through 1968, and 3 of those seasons he served as team captain. He was a part of the Bulldogs' first undefeated season during his senior year. For 32 years, he taught at Duval Public Schools in Jacksonville, Florida, followed by a 7-year career at Baker County Schools in McClenny, Florida. He has coached football and soccer, but his claim to fame is in baseball. Although his coaching career was primarily in Florida, he spent 3 summers coaching Connie Mack teams in his hometown of Fruitport in the 1980s. Under his leadership, his Florida baseball teams have compiled a 579 and 207 record, including 2 Florida State championships and 4 Final Four appearances. He has won numerous state and national honors in his career, including the Sunbelt Classic Hall of Fame, the Florida Coaches Hall of Fame, the National Federation Coach of the Year, and of course the Fruitport Hall of Fame. Jack was vice chairman for 11 years and served on the American Baseball Coaches Association All-American Selection Committee. He has also served 12 years as a scout in professional baseball from the Yankees, Brewers, Braves, and Giants. Please welcome Jack Spencer.
Boy, it's hard to believe, welcome. Boy, it's hard to believe I did all those things, isn't it? Man, there's nobody can do all that stuff. I have a tendency to tell stories, I don't tell lies, all right? What I would like to do is throw a little different wrench in this. I'm going to do a little history type thing here after I thank a few people, because I think it's very important that we remember the past to the future and now, and the whole package put together. And there's quite a history in this town here that a lot of people that really don't understand. But the first thing I really would like to do, and I think there's a reason that I'm up here. Somebody put me up here for a reason, and I think he's higher than all of us. So I want to just touch a few things, and if I drag things out and some of you have to take a break, go ahead, because I'm not going to quit, because this is one time in a lifetime that you get to do this. You heard, she said that I was in the Hall of Fame in Florida, in Coaches Hall of Fame. What a great honor. Oh, what a great honor. Oklahoma was inducted a couple of years ago to that. What a great honor. I mean, I've got friends all over the country. But you know what's funny? They weren't really friends, they're acquaintances. My true friends are here. This is an honor to me, and I want you to know how much I appreciate this, and I think you'll understand that when I get through. A couple things I'd like to do is take you on a journey with me, and before I do that, I want to thank the people here in Fruitport for nominating me, but there's more to it than just me. The administrative people that you have and have had in the school system here, what a great and wonderful job they've done. I made comment the other night that, you know, when we were in school, Fruitport really wasn't the school to go to. And all of a sudden, over years, and now I'm finding out Fruitport is the school to go to, because it's the tradition that they have, the community that they have, the love that they have for one another. And I think that's an attribute to what Fruitport is built around. Not many small big city towns or cities and school systems are built like they are in Fruitport. I really believe this town of ours is built around the school. And it's because of the administrative people that come through and their philosophies and their beliefs. The next thing, we probably have had the greatest teachers in the world. No question about it. I'd like to share this with you. Things have changed, but the more they changed, the less they have. I walked through the school the other day, they took me on a tour. And man, oh man, I was in this classroom. I was in this classroom when this happened. You know, I can remember when President Kennedy got shot. And there I was sitting right in that class crying like a baby. And I started telling Ken the story as we went around. You know what? Not really many things have changed. The only thing that's changed is people have come through. What a great situation to go there. The only thing that blew my mind, and I live in Florida, obviously, I didn't realize we didn't have air conditioning. Isn't that something? We're going to the moon and Fruitport doesn't have air conditioning? And I know you all want it. I know you want it. Maybe you ought to come back and politic for it a little bit, huh? Okay, let me thank a few people. I'm telling you, the administration, the new administration that we have that I didn't know, you have made me feel at home, and you are wonderful. You are wonderful. The teachers, when I walked around, holy cow, they stopped doing things. And you know what? The kids kept working, and they let me come into their classrooms. They let me visit with them. What a great thing. Their teachers here are magnificent, very professional. And by the way, I'm still teaching, okay, 41 years, all right? So I got to give credit to those people. Without them, and I want to talk a little later on about the teachers I had. They're not any different, believe me. They're not any, but they were great. I would like to thank a few people, and I was very fortunate, and everything that I say today has really happened because of Fruitport. It really has. From the time I came to Fruitport in 5th grade, everything is here. I met my wife here. I've been with her for 40 years. I don't know how she's put up with me, okay? And I'm telling you, but she's a great one. And I'd like to introduce her, is my wife, Ruth Ann. Would you stand up, Ruth Ann? She's a '69 graduate. Now, I want you to know, excuse me, I don't want to offend anybody, but I'm going to catch hell tonight. That's the first time I called her Ruth Ann in 40 years. I usually call her Ruthie, okay? She's a '69 graduate, and we've been together forever. She's given me 2 wonderful children. Blake, who is with me, he could come up here with me. Blake William Allen Spencer, and he's 32 years old, and I've got a daughter that's back in Florida, and she just couldn't make it, and I'm sorry that she didn't, because she's a beautiful young lady. They've given me 2, my daughter's given me 2 grandchildren. They're twins, they're 12 years old, and they're my life. My son just had a baby a couple of years ago, and she runs the roost. She's 3 years old. She's beautiful. So I am so fortunate to be able to have those people support me in what I did, because I was a 24/7 when it comes to teaching and everything else. I was 24/7, 365 every day of my life for 35 years. And this is the first time since then, in the last 6 years, that I go to work in the morning and I come home in the afternoon. And by the way, do we have any teachers here that are actually teachers now? Okay, listen to this now. Listen to this. These teachers over here that are here for me, okay, these guys back here are retired. You're going to get there one day, but I'm going to tell you this. 41 years, and I want you to know this, I've never had a job. You know why? Because I always said when it became work, I was going to quit, and I never really, teaching never was work for me. I enjoyed it so much. So if you have that attitude, you'll be there a long time. All right, let's get down to business now. All right? If I take too long now, I've already talked to Mike. Mike said it was all right. Okay? Because I wanted to be before him, because he's long-winded. I heard him yesterday. I went to school with some great guys. We were the first graduating class of Fruitport. All that was there was about 14 classrooms. Dan Lever was our principal. He had a little room up there as an office. Across the hall was the faculty lounge. Oh, that's all right. Y'all hold up. We're going to get to him, okay? He ain't getting away. Well, right across on the two corners, and it's still there, am I right? The two little restrooms. And that was it. And then we had the classrooms, and then they built the school from there. And we were very fortunate to be the first graduating class. But that class, if you're not familiar, was kind of a unique class. A lot of the guys that I graduated with and that were in the next 2 or 3 years of that class really stayed in Fruitport and are very prominent in Fruitport, and a lot of that class became part of the city government or village government or township government, whatever it is, and a lot of them are just stepping out, and they have done a marvelous job. And I'd like to thank a few of them that were friends of mine. I called them friends. I'm not so sure they call me a friend, especially after this weekend. Some of them asked me to already go home. So, real close friends that I've had that I'd like to really honor to them, and I'll tell you why, along with a few teachers, why I want to do that. Tom Fry, father, family, had a business in Fruitport, eventually moved away, and he took over. Very good friends, been loyal to me. I've known him since 5th grade. Thank you, Tom, for being a friend for 55 years, and I love you dearly. The other guys that I have, Norm Spike, who's still in the area. He owns, if you get hungry after tonight, you can go to Bozi's. Okay, does everybody know where that is? That's down in Muskegon. He owns that. A glue plug for him. Okay, times are tough if you like to go there. Great food. Jerry Lundberg, you all familiar with Jerry? Jerry's a pretty prominent businessman in town. His mother, gosh, I hate to say this. His mother had to bail me and 2 other than Jerry, and the only reason she bailed me out of jail, I hate to say that, bailed me out of jail because we lit a couple of firecrackers off. But you know what? We weren't in jail long, because if you knew Jerry's mother, oh Lord behold, buddy, I'm telling you, she brought that $500 down. She didn't lay it down. She threw it at him and grabbed her 2 little toothy boys in there, and they were going home. But bless her heart, Jerry Lumber couldn't make it here tonight. Roger Gall, Gary Johnson, who is back over here, his wife Joy, is a prominent businessman here. Kenny Cooper, you know the Cooper family. We were involved with them quite regularly. And then Ron Stroop, who, by the way, was one of the great athletes out of Fruitport. And not my last least is David Akers. Dave, a lot of people don't know Dave, but I've always thought Dave was one of the best athletes to ever be at Fruitport. And I think if you talk to some of the former people, they'll tell you he was a great baseball player, he was a great football player, and he played basketball, and he ran track like I did. So, and for 50 years, I haven't seen him, and I had an opportunity to see him, and I really appreciate the opportunity to spend time with him like I have. I know I'm going in a different direction, but people, let me tell you something. The start of this school, the start of our athletic program all goes back, and I'm talking about tradition of where it's at, and if you had a chance to look around, it's this. I had some great teachers. I'm where I'm at today because of my teachers and my administration and guidance counselors. And one other thing, I'll tell you this. My success is because I had great student athletes. It was them that put me here. It was you. I'm going to tell you my history at this school. We had a great principal in Dan Lever. Does everybody know Dan Lever? He was a great leader. Can you stand up, Mr. Lever? There he is. Thank you very much, and we all love you. I want to mention a couple of other teachers real quickly. I'm not going to spend a lot of time with John Solomon was my woodshop teacher. He was very instrumental in me going to college. Joe Galbraith was a music teacher. Bob Seeger, Ken Van Dyke, Gene Young, so some of you may know, was very active in the area. I became good friends with him, and he guided me in a lot of ways in the later years. And I had one other person that, and I told Ken this story. Ken said, "Jack, you got 3 minutes to speak." Huh? Yeah. Well, I told him I failed speech class. I had a teacher by Miss Nelson. Boy, was she sharp, buddy. I'm telling you. She was sharp. But she told me I failed her class because I couldn't talk for 3 minutes. I kept going and going on. But she was very instrumental in allowing me to open up and be able to public speak a little bit. Now, let's get down to some business here. Let me tell you, and I hope he doesn't become offended because I love this man dearly. I've had two people that were very instrumental in me being successful in coaching, okay? And they both did kind of the same thing. Taught me how to lead, taught me how to be tough, taught me how to be firm, taught me how to love and care, okay? Great people. One was my college football coach by the name of Bob Leach. And Mike, you were at Michigan, were you not? Where's Mike T? You were at Michigan, correct? Did I want to get that right? Michigan State, Michigan, okay? All right. There was a quarterback at Michigan called Leach a few years ago. Well, I played for his uncle at Ferris. And he was a great Christian. I mean, he just did things the way it should be. And he taught me a lot about life and everything else. But I got to take it back one step further. I had a guy that came in from the Upper Peninsula. A lot of people don't know him, but you're going to know him tonight. And if you get a chance to talk with him, you need to. But be careful, because he's tough. He's as tough as he ever was. Our football coach back there was brought in from he played in Northern Michigan, or he was from Marquette, or I don't know, he was from someplace else, okay? I do know that, because nobody did what he did. We played for a guy by the name of Tom Pallas, and I don't want him to stand yet. As a matter of fact, he might be standing already. Are you back? Go ahead and stand up, Coach Pallas. Let me tell you, greatest guy in the world right there. No doubt about it. He taught our football team how to be tough. And you know what happened in that toughness? He taught us how to work. He taught us how to care about people. He got us ready not to play the game on Friday night. He got us ready for life. Man, we didn't know it. He's one of those guys that was kind of like a farmer. All right? And teachers are like this. I don't know if you know this. Teachers are like this, and people that are involved with kids are like this. They plant the seed. It starts to grow, okay? And then, all of a sudden, the product comes out, the corn, whatever it is, and then it goes to market, and they never see it again. They don't know what the end results of what that does. That food that's out there, it's done. They're gone, everything. Coach, this is what it's done for us. It's allowed us to be involved with people like this. A lot of these people, I know them very well. You don't. You need to get to know them because they're great people. Okay? I'm telling you. Thank you again, Coach Pallas. You're wonderful. I love you and family. All right, let me. Oh, boy, here I go. Okay, let's get down to it. See, I kind of approach it different because I think I think when you go into a Hall of Fame, if anybody on this panel, and they'll tell you this, and they don't know, they haven't even thought about it yet until they get my age. They passed me off, by the way. They passed me off yesterday for the 91-year-old. They passed me off for you yesterday. Can you believe that? Okay, but when you get our age, you don't think, I mean, until you get our age, you start thinking about that. These kind of things, why you're here. And if there's not a one of us in this place that planned to be here. You cannot do that, people. You cannot be in the Hall of Fame, whether it's in Florida, Oklahoma, here, it doesn't matter. You don't plan it. It just happens. Why does it happen? Because you do the right things for your people in your community or your school or your area, your state, whatever that is, you do the right things. And if you are on that list to be selected, you will. Now, here's what's neat about me. I really don't believe I deserve to be up here. Okay? All those accolades I've got and everything else, they meant a lot. This means an awful lot. But the reason I'm up here, somebody put me up here. And I think the bigger powers above have something to do with this. They put me out there because the true Hall of Famers, I don't mean to insult anybody, but the true Hall of Famers, because I'm up here, are the Dan Levers, the Tom Palaces, your friends that you deal with every day and you grow with. They are the true Hall of Famers. I just happen to be representing them. And I thank them for allowing me to be able to stand up here. And I thank you, Fruitport. I thank every one of the people that are on here that were involved in this. You have something that is tremendous. We have probably the greatest hometown. Can I finish up with this compliment because I thought it was very important. Yesterday I spoke, and I'm not an I guy, we spoke to some of the students at Fruitport. Here's what I want to do. Pay a compliment again to the administration, to the teachers, to the parents, to you as a community. I have never in 41 years been in front of people that were as polite and mannerly as these kids were, and attentive. It was unbelievable. That is a tribute to the type of education that is going on in our school system here in Fruitport. Okay? And I thank you for electing me to be up here, deserving or undeserving. I don't think so, but I really appreciate it, and it probably means more to me than anybody will ever know. Okay? So from deep down in my heart, I thank you. I welcome you to visit me in Florida if you ever like to come down and visit me. But remember, on the second day, you got to leave and go someplace else. Because I am not on vacation all the time in Florida. Thank you again, and have a great time, because I have.